South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rockin' dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday indeed. Happy return day for a one-day work week for me. Let's see how that works. Yeah, there we go. No, not quite. Kenny and Alex had the reins the last 2 days, feeling a little bit better on this side of the desk. So we're back here on a Friday, and we got a loaded Friday for you. Dwayne Colucci will be joining us momentarily from up in Summerlin. We'll get his thoughts on the Preakness tomorrow in Baltimore. We'll get his thoughts on Game 6 tonight at MSG, hockey as well. And then a special treat for us, Steve Jones Jr. will join us the opening night of the WNBA. Of course, a huge Game 6 tonight at Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks better win or else Boston's going to win this thing at 7, at least in my eyes. And then a Game 7 tomorrow night in Oklahoma City, and what has been an unbelievably high-end series with OKC and Denver will be decided in Game 7. And Minnesota just sits there and waits right now on the Western Conference side.
Who is now the second favorite to win it all. I was pretty surprised to see that. It is OKC and then Minnesota. And then we've got the Eastern Conference teams. But I am really excited to talk to him about Nuggets and the Thunder and what he has seen from Denver and if he thinks that they can actually pull this off.
Yeah, well, Minnesota's already moved through, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
And they're going to be, if it's Minnesota against either of the, assuming it's not Boston, which again, if Boston comes back and beats the Knicks without Tatum, be very interested to see how an East final would get priced. Be very interested to see how a potential NBA Finals with Boston against Minnesota would get priced. I know OKC would be a huge favorite, but OKC is going to be a pretty significant favorite against everybody left on the board at this point, including Minnesota, who I know your dad said earlier in the week that Minnesota was only was 1 point better than Denver. Maybe with a little bit of rest, maybe a little bit more, but again, T-Wolves advanced 2 nights ago in really what was a routine gentleman's sweep in the end once Steph Curry exited Game 1 with that hamstring injury, never to return in the series. All right, while we're waiting for Dwayne, Let's just start in the NBA here because we might as well look what's behind us right now here on our wonderful screen. Jalen Brunson and Jalen Brown, the JBs of the world here, spelled differently on the first names. But here you go. Boston without Tatum this year is now, after winning Game 5, 8-2 in the 10 games they played without Tatum this year. I don't take anything from Game 5. I don't take anything. I think that was fallen star theory to a T. Knicks got massive foul trouble in the second half. Brunson fouled out Towns with his usual nonsense fouls mixed in there. And in the end, Boston won by 25. It was not indicative to how close the game was at halftime, but Boston was the better side for the majority of it. Now, we go back to New York. Knicks are 2.5. It's 210 here at the South Point, which, by the way, is market low on the total. The rest of the market is 211, 210.5. So if you like the over, this is the best spot to do it, even though you missed the best of it earlier in the week. This just, I know it's cliched. I know it's obvious, but the Knicks better win tonight. If the Knicks are going to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, you got to have it tonight at home. The game after Jason Tatum gets hurt, you were going to get a bigger effort out of Boston. Now it's the second game after Tatum gets hurt. You got to take advantage of having home court. You got to take advantage of Tatum not being out there. And the Knicks got to get this done here tonight. With that said, I'm staying completely off the game, Alex, because I was really hoping the Knicks would be sub 2. I was really hoping for a 1.5 or even a 1 in this game. I don't think we're getting that. I think it's more likely to go to 3.
I kind of disagree with you in the fact that I think that Game 5 actually told a lot about the Celtics team. And I love Jason Tatum. I think he is one of the top players in the NBA. But without him, it was a full team effort. And Jaylen Brown is a very good player as well. And he stepped up in the occasion. He facilitated more. There was a lot more assist in that game, got everybody involved. So I think they have a really good shot here tonight. Clearly, the spread is telling you that. I mean, it's basically just giving you that home court for the Knicks here. So it's really tough to handicap. I'm not going to jump in and play anything either. My dad definitely has this total higher still with these two. We've seen the Knicks, their defense has kind of slowed down in the last 3 games. Boston's scoring has also gotten a lot better in the last 3 games. 115, 113, 127 for them. And, of course, that last one without Jason Tatum. But so if anything, I would play the over, but I'm going to stay off of it. But could get interesting. I also am kind of on the other side as you. I could see the Celtics stealing one more, but then the Knicks finding a way to close it out in Boston.
Anything's in play if Boston wins tonight. I mean, then a 3-1 will be erased. 2-0 would have been erased in that scenario. Mm-hmm. It really does feel like, though, if you're going to get this done, at least for me, if you're going to get this done, if you're the Knicks, get it done tonight at home. Don't even mess around. Too many factors get thrown in once you hit a Game 7 if it manages to get back to Boston up by 95 for what would be a Sunday game in Boston. Over the weekend in OKC, real quick, this is a Sunday afternoon one, so they actually get 2 days off in between Game 6 and Game 7. Right now, Alex, no need for an exact play. We can ask Dwayne what we got in a moment. So you're at 2. Right now, you're at Oklahoma City down to 7.5. This is the lowest number we've seen in this series, period. Game 7 premium more so than anything. Total is by far the lowest total we've seen in this series at 213. Another Game 7 premium. Last night, it was yet again the Nikola Jokic show, but Christian Brown with a big game for Denver as well. And the random Julian Strother, 15 off the bench, didn't hurt either for Denver. Alex, it would only be a take of the points with Denver. This feels like this will be close. I expect Oklahoma City to win. Even with it being the lowest number of this series, I still like Denver plus the 7.5.
I'm right there with you. Lean to the Thunder winning this game. I mean, minus 300, pretty good money line price there for this team that's been a huge favorite to win it all the whole time. They are the better team, but I do think Denver can keep it close. I like what we saw from them, too, in the last game. And Jokic more getting everybody involved rather than playing hero ball. And I think that was really a difference maker for this team. But really stepped up, figured some things out defensively too, and kind of had OKC a little annoyed during that game. So we'll see. I'm excited. Finally, we get a Game 7 because we haven't gotten very many in hockey. My dad and I were talking about that yesterday, where this round 2, I mean, we've just had really early closeouts for these series, and I'm just looking for some Game 7s in either.
I'll just say this with this series, and this is just more looking forward, because the winner of this series gets home court against Minnesota. It doesn't matter who wins in Oklahoma on Sunday afternoon. I just wonder from the Oklahoma City perspective here, because they showed me a ton in Game 5. They took an epic Jokic game, and they still found a way to win. That was, to me, a championship-level caliber win. And then they flipped around with what was, to me, a pretty mediocre, not pretty, it was mediocre. It was a mediocre second half, a game they were leading at halftime last night. So what am I getting? Am I getting the championship team Oklahoma City effort that I saw, especially putting the game away at the end of Game 5, or am I seeing what I saw last night in the second game? All right, hockey, 2 tonight. Let's go to Toronto and Florida. You good with this? Good with this game here, Alex, where we are really, at least from my end. And to be honest, Alex, I just want to be put out of my misery from the Toronto perspective, because what happened 2 nights ago was the most embarrassing show I've ever seen in a gotta have an NHL game. That was awful from every which way. Horrible. And Florida should be minus 240 tonight. I don't care who's in net for Toronto. I think what you saw in Game 5 was a team give up. And when you give up in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you're done. So I like Florida tonight. I think we'll look at this during the break. We got to see what the empty net goal for Florida is tonight, because there might be a bunch of those tonight here on this one.
I was really curious to see where you're going to go with this. I was kind of hoping you were going to take a little piece of the Leafs, because I do not want to jump in here. I've been on too many desperate teams to try and keep their series alive, and it has not paid off in this round 2, like I was saying. So I'm not going to jump in. I did make some adjustments, as you should, going through the series. So I have the Panthers minus 215 at home. Would not have even been close earlier on in this series. I think I had a minus 150, but adjusting both ways on both teams here. And if I add a little bit back, maybe $2, a little bit under that. So I'm right there. No value taking that 2-1 here with the Leafs to keep it going.
I wish that this price on Toronto was a little bit, on Florida was a little bit cheaper. Just a wee bit cheaper, please. But again, when you see that type of effort in the Stanley Cup playoffs, it usually, and the folks on ESPN were talking about it after the game 2 nights ago, it either goes one of 2 ways. It either is give up, see you later, adios, or it's an inspired effort.
Yeah.
I saw nothing that shows me the second door. As much as I would love to see it, I think it's over. I think this is Florida wraps this thing up tonight, and boy, we get a heavy-duty Eastern Conference final with Carolina wrapping it up in Washington last night. I'd be very interested to see how a Florida-Carolina series gets priced. All I can tell you is if Florida comes the underdog, I'll be taking Florida in that series against Carolina. And then, you know what? We'll get the game tomorrow with Dwayne. So let's take Ryan, 1 minute. We'll get Dwayne all set up. We'll get him in. Hockey, basketball, Preakness with Kaluch. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
We're back in Sports by the Book. South Point Studio, Jeff Parles, Alex White. Now joining us, we've now seen him twice this week, and it will be actually 3 times in 8 days come Monday for our good friend Dwayne Colucci up at the Rampart. Colucci, how you doing today?
Doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Let's start with the Preakness. Of course, journalism, your favorite for the second consecutive Triple Crown race. It's not like you ran a bad race at Churchill Downs. You actually ran a pretty darn good race. It just, in the end, wasn't enough to beat Sovereignty. As we know, Sovereignty's not running here. Dwayne, what are your thoughts on the race? What are your thoughts on the field here, headlined by journalism?
Well, it was a substantial upgrade once journalism decided to join the field. So that's a pleasant surprise without a doubt. And he's going to be the horse to beat. I mean, if he replicates what he did at Churchill Downs, he's going to be very difficult to beat. I mean, he beat a couple of horses in here. Sandman, he beat already, who's going to take a ton of action again. You know, I know he's got a big and strong backing, but journalism looks very tough. I'm also looking at the one horse, Goal Orientated. That's Bob Baffert. This horse won at Churchill on Kentucky Derby Day over that sloppy track. And you're getting Flavion Pratt, excellent rider, top-notch, unbelievable rider. And you know what Bob Baffert brings to the table. I don't have to explain the years of dominance of Triple Crown races in the past decade or so, until he was banned for a few years by Churchill Downs. But he produced the last 2 Triple Crown winners, which is an amazing feat. I mean, nobody thought that could be done, but then he did it with American Pharaoh. He did it with Justify. You know, somewhat of a black cloud surrounding this man's career, a lot of accusations, a lot of court battles, but Bob is still here and just an amazing conditioner. I had the pleasure of meeting him a few times. I met him at Rayo's in L.A., actually got him hooked up with a table because, you know, I know Frank Pellegrino, God rest his soul, and his son. But, you know, this horse is definitely going to be tough if he brings his A game. He could push journalism, and there's a couple others in there. I mean, I look at the bottom 2, and they're definitely tough. Clever again. You have Steve Asmussen, Jose Ortiz. This horse is coming off a couple of really solid races, 2 big wins, 3.5 and 4.5 lengths. And you have Gosker on the bottom, Brendan Walsh, who's another top conditioner. Luis Saez, been riding lights out at Churchill Downs, won a race already at Pimlico. You know, just a fabulous, fabulous rider. So you do have some options in this Preakness. It's not just going to be journalism, in my opinion, but at the betting windows, it will be just journalism. He's going to be very popular at the betting windows. I would say he's going to be in the even money range. 6 to 5 is the most you're going to see on this horse. Like I said, Sandman will take some money. And of course, the rail horse, because of the Bob Baffert, you know, lineage and legacy, will take a ton of money, especially looking the way he does on the racing form. I mean, that last race is very impressive. Plus, he broke his maiden easily at Santa Anita. This may be a late riser for Bob Baffert at his 3-year-old contingency, and definitely I like this horse. I'm going to be using him along with journalism and the 2 bottom horses, like I said.
Very good, Dwayne. I was just going to ask you at the end there, what was your official? But so those 4 horses, 1, 2, 8, and 9. You're going to
correct, and I'm going to key the 1, Alex. Yeah, I'm going to key the 1. I'm going to take a shot to beat journalism because it's it's difficult, and the ownership was on the fence, and the trainer, they weren't so sure. Then they decided to throw him in. I looked at him galloping over the wet surface earlier in the week, which the weather looks great today, but tomorrow, early rain, then it should dry out late. He didn't look that great galloping over the muddy surface when I saw him earlier in the week. But, he took to the muddy surface at Churchill very easily. So he runs his top race. He's going to be tough, but I'm going to try and beat him with the 1.
Anything for us, Dwayne, for the Black-Eyed Susan?
Black-Eyed Susan, I got it right here. I was just handicapping and formulating my pick 5. I'm liking the 7 and the 8. I like Reply, Irad Ortiz, and Brittany Russell. Brittany Russell is a fabulous trainer. She dominates in the Midwest and in the East Coast. Actually, more of the Maryland circuits. And she'll pop around at Aqueduct once in a while and throw a bomb in there. She's definitely a capable trainer. Plus, you have the greatest rider in the world, Irad Ortiz, on this horse. And I'm going to use him with the 8, Amarth. Luis Saez again, Eddie Canelli, a great conditioner. He's a Churchill Downs guy, Turfway, Keeneland, and he's definitely going to have this horse on its A game. You're going to have to beat the Asmussen horse, the 4, running and gunning. Very tough to beat. You look at it, Jose Ortiz, 3rd in the fantasy, won the Sunland Park Derby for the females there. So, this horse is battle tested, but on a lower circuit. The wins come at Sunland and Sam Houston, which I believe are a little lower class than what Brittany Russell's horse, the 7, Reply, and what Eddie Canelli's horse, the 8, bring to the table. So I'm going 7, 8. I'm going to probably box them up there, Alex. So let's look to get cash a ticket here at a price, because the Asmussen horse, like I said, with Jose Ortiz, the 4 horse, is going to take a ton of cash in this race.
Dwayne, I want to pivot to hockey real quick. We were talking about it before you hopped on.
You sure you want to?
Why did you? Well, you couldn't hear my mic when it was that. I just want this to be over at this point with my Toronto tickets. I mean, that was that bad 2 nights ago. It was 6-1, and it should have been about 12-1. In that game against Florida. Look, Dwayne, I'm just more curious more than anything. Both of us expect Florida on the desk to wrap things tonight. I'm going to assume you expect that as well. But I'm very curious to see what your thoughts are on a Masamenos there from Alex on the other side. But if Florida does wrap this, what do you think of a Florida-Carolina series, which is what we would get in the Eastern Conference?
I'm sticking with Florida. I mean, if they play that game that they played the other night against Toronto, they're going to destroy Carolina. I'm telling you right now, Washington looked very passive. They never made any adjustments. I was so shocked at that coaching staff. They never turned it up. They never got physical. At least you have Domi punching guys in the head at the end of the game. You're getting a little physical. That's what you need. I mean, you see Ben out there for Dallas. He's cross-checking guys. But Washington remained passive. So, I'm never sold on Carolina. They have phenomenal talent. They're well coached. Don't get me wrong. Brindamore is good, but he's another guy that they're so regimented that they never elevate to that next level. I watched them against the Rangers the last couple of years, and, they just fall into a funk. And Florida has a switch to where they could get extra momentum. And you saw that against Toronto. The Toronto fans were shocked. I mean, but how could you be after all these many years? You're still watching Austin Matthews on a 6-game goal scoreless streak, and you think you're going to beat Florida, the defending champs. I mean, I was surprised that they were that shocked. I think it was more that it was so lopsided, but that's what Florida could do to you. And Toronto, that losing tradition, 40 plus years, it's starting to get weary. And, the same comparison with the Knicks, they're playing without Tatum and you get blown out. I mean, show some signs of life. I mean, now you got all the pressure in the world again at Madison Square Garden. Same thing that happened to Toronto, and now you got to go on the road. You're seeing 240 at the Rampart and South Point. That's a legitimate line. I mean, if you're going to take Toronto, I would look at the puck line. They're going to be pulling the goalie early because I think Florida's going to have a 2+ goal lead, and it's going to become very, very difficult. Total, though, is very low, despite the way Woll played in the last game and the defense. They had so many holes. Like you said, it could have been 12-1. So I'm kind of shocked. I thought this total, we would have made it at 6, but I never doubt what Chris does. 5.5. We're seeing good two-way action. I mean, it's at 110. So I expect we'll take over money in this game, but I really like Florida's chances now. I think they could run the table and win the Stanley Cup again. That series, whether it's, Winnipeg or Dallas playing Edmonton, it's going to be grueling and bruising, and they're going to kill each other. And credit, we were all over Connor Hellebuck, guys, but now the guy's got, 140 minutes of goalless, but that's at home. Keep that in mind. He's got to do this on the road. I mean, he could step up. He's got that elevation level. He's the best goaltender in the world, but you got to win on the road, and Dallas going to bring that A game. So that's a tough game to handicap. Edmonton looks hungry. I mean, they destroyed the Golden Knights. It shocked me that it was that easy, but Golden Knights couldn't find the back of the net when Stuart Skinner's putting up 6.5 plus periods without you scoring on him. There's problems there. I anticipate the ownership and the management will address that in the offseason, very similar to Toronto once they go out. You could see implosions on both sides, other than guys like Jack Eichel, and maybe, you got to keep Nylander, I would anticipate, but Marner and Austin Matthews, it's starting to wear thin. I mean, ever since they made that commercial back in the day together, it's been 4 or 5 years of just tragedy for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's just continuing. They have to really implode that situation if they don't get past Florida.
Going back to the Oilers, Dwayne, it shocked me too, but I mean, it's really been about their depth. They've been showing that, especially in that series against Vegas. It wasn't just the Draisaitl and McDavid show. So do you expect them to come out of the West, whether it's Dallas or the Jets?
Well, if Kane continues to play well, they need Nugent Hopkins to do a little more. You're right. Yeah, definitely. They have some assets. They've been now 2 lines have been very successful. It needs to be 3 or 4. I think Florida still could beat them. I still have skepticism about that team. And, it wasn't the best Vegas Golden Knight team that they were facing. I mean, they limped in. They were very sick, in the prior rounds. They had the flu bug going around. Then you saw different players that were in and out, whether it was Hannafin, whether it was Petro, these guys were not healthy. Dorofeyev, he missed a game. So I'm not sold on Edmonton just yet. And Stuart Skinner is still between the pipes. For some reason, Vegas couldn't get a puck past him, but I know that the opponent here will get pucks past him. I would much rather see Dallas at this point, though. I'll be honest with you, Alex. I think they're the tougher test and the tougher team. Still, you're starting to see Connor step it up. It's getting rough out there. Scheifele, all those guys, are getting manhandled towards the end of the game, but they're winning games. So, and you have the home ice if they do win Winnipeg. So that's very important as well. President's Cup winners, home ice throughout, very, very important at this stage now. So if they could win in Dallas, they probably will get past Dallas, believe it or not. But I would prefer to see Dallas play Edmonton, and I still like, their chances against Edmonton.
Yeah, just at this rate, if Skinner's going to play as well as he's played, it's going to be very difficult for anyone except for Florida to beat the Oilers. All right, Dwayne, real quick, because we got Steve Jones on the other side. Your Knicks going to pull this out tonight?
I hope so, man. I'll be praying. I'm going to be rooting. I think they definitely played well in the Garden that last game. So come on, let's get it going. Money Brunson, unbelievable. Josh Hart has been playing great. Got to play a lot better, though, than that last game. And what's funny is that when the Knicks were getting ahead or playing very good, it seemed like Tatum was taking wild threes. So I don't want to say that the Celtics are better without Tatum, but they played better team ball, it seemed like. They weren't just relying on one player, and Brown really got involved. Porzingis got involved. Everybody got involved. The Knicks are going to have their hands full because we know that the Celtics are the best team in the Eastern Conference, regardless of injuries. Maybe if you take Tatum and Brown out, then definitely it's a significant drop-off. But the Knicks need to win this game. This is the most important game in 40 years, Jeff. Let's go, Knicks.
There you go. Our good friend Dwayne Colucci and my bookie Dwayne on the tweets up at the Rampart Race and Sportsbook Director there. Dwayne, thank you as always. We'll see you again. In about 72 hours.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
We'll put that up at the end for
I got the horse picks up.
We'll hold that for later in the show as well for everybody. We'll put it on my side. I'll actually have a board for once, but it won't even be my picks. All right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, Steve Jones Jr. will join us next. A Game 7 in Oklahoma City, a crucial Game 6 in New York, and also the start of the WNBA season when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back in. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Now joining us. We haven't seen him in a while. It's great to have him back. Steve Jones Jr. with us right now. Steve, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me. Excited to talk some hoops. It's been a fun time. It's only going to get crazier.
We got a fun one tonight at MSG, a great one on Sunday at Game 7 in Oklahoma City. But let's start with tonight first. I know you were on it. You were getting you all connected. I know you heard what Dwayne had to say. I know Alex actually even said it a little bit earlier with the Celtics and the Knicks. A little more cohesive in Game 5 in that second half, just running New York out of the building. I know there was foul trouble on the Knicks end that really ended things also prematurely in that one. But here tonight, Knicks are 2.5-point favorites, 210.5. Just what are your thoughts as a whole in this game, especially now Boston's second game without having Tatum after the ruptured Achilles?
Well, I would say the Knicks have to be ready to fight. The Celtics were fighting for Tatum, and I think one of the biggest things is no matter what the series has been, like we talked about the blowout or the comebacks, the 20-point leads that have been lost, the Tatum injury is unfortunate. The Celtics defense has been on point for the majority of this series, so the Knicks are going to have to find a way to score, and they're going to have to find a way to slow Boston back down. I mean, Boston can't go out there and make 22 threes and move the ball that they did in the last game. So if you're the Knicks, you just have to, keep the ball in front, get back to the defense you played earlier in the series, contain them, contest those shots, and make it tough on them. And then Jalen Brunson and Cat, you gotta go win one. Especially Karl-Anthony Towns, the foul trouble bothered him. I imagine Jalen Brunson will be ready to try and end this at the Garden. Boston's going to have that mindset to move the ball, but you gotta make it a tougher performance. Luke Cornett can't have 7 blocks and feel like he's dominating the second half.
Is it fair, Steve, to say that New York's defense is fading a little bit in these last few games?
Oh yeah, they've been getting dinged since about game 3 or 4 as Boston started to find their rhythm a little bit. I think the Knicks did a really good job of being able to switch, and Boston likes to attack matchups. So hey, that's fine. We'll switch Jalen Brunson on to Tatum or Brown. We'll switch Karl-Anthony Towns, and then they had everyone else on an Obi Hart. Keeping the ball in front. So Boston didn't have the drives. They weren't making threes. They were kind of in a box offensively. That's kind of shifted over the course of the last few games. Boston's been able to get those drives going. They've gotten some pick and roll. The Stavs has let them get in transition. So for the Knicks, they got to get back to taking things away from Boston, making it tough, making them take those tough contested shots as opposed to the drives we saw from Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, and the help that they had to force after they started getting going.
Just one more on this game before we get to the Game 7. Just when you're without a star like Tatum, we saw it in game number 5 where Derek White got open looks. Jaylen Brown played as good of a game as he's played all series. I was just, and this is just to piggyback on what Alex just asked you, I was stunned that the Knicks, knowing Tatum's not there, you got to be able to take Derek White out of the game, offensively speaking. And Derek White, to me, had more clean looks from 3 than he did at any point in this series in Game 5. And it's so interesting seeing the evolution of Tibbs through the years, where you think, oh, defense first. You know the defense is going to be solid. And this year it's been, hey, the Knicks offense has been the elite unit. The defense has not. And again, this has been the key to this series going this far at this point.
I think, I would always say resist the temptation to say the Celtics are better without Jason Tatum.
Of course.
But there is this aspect where, one, every guy has to be more aggressive. So they have a different mindset. Derek White came out and said, I'm shooting the ball, and he didn't stop the entire game. Boston can sometimes get in trouble when they play a little slower, or they lean on Jason Tatum, or they lean on attacking matchups. They didn't have that luxury. So you saw them make quicker decisions and play a little bit quicker, and the ball was moving a little bit better, which is usually when Boston's playing well. So the Knicks have to now be prepared for that. They don't necessarily have the crutch of Boston's going to just let Tatum go. Not that he can't, but he's the hub. Guys play differently when they know they have to. So it's on them to kind of take Derek White off the table, take Drew Holiday off the table, and say, Jaylen Brown, that's fine. You can drive as much as you want. These shots are going to be tough. But I think the biggest thing for Boston is understanding that without Tatum, they can't survive and play the way they did earlier in the series.
Before we get to the Game 7 here with the Thunder and the Nuggets, I just want to ask you about what we saw last night with the Nuggets. Huge win for them, 119-107 against this really good OKC team. What did you see from the Nuggets that gives you hope or the thought that they could actually close this series out?
I mean, they gave themselves a shot. The thing I saw was fight. I mean, the story of this series is just, does Denver have enough defense to put themselves in a position to where Jokic and Murray are able to be these unstoppable forces together late in games? Them continuing to keep OKC flustered offensively and not let them get good looks. I thought Jamal Murray set the tone in that first quarter. He was really aggressive, went after it. I thought Jokic, as the game wore on, he just kind of reminded you guys really can't guard me. I personally, as I was watching it, was thinking, hey, I think the big fella might need to shoot a few more times. But I was sadly mistaken at the end when I looked up and he had 29, 14, and 8 and missed 5 shots. He did what he was supposed to do. Julian Strawther made a whole bunch of shots, and so Denver just kind of had that collective mindset. For Denver to have success in the playoffs, it always comes down to, do they have enough defensive versatility? Can they get a C+, and then they can go out and flow and transition and score? And I think that's been the toughest part. For OKC, Shea had a great night, but they're going to need more from Jalen Williams. They're going to have to find more comfort in moving the ball and finding the gaps in Denver's defense, whether it's zone or man. They haven't necessarily been able to flip that switch to make Denver blink defensively. And so you're in a flip the coin Game 7, and Game 7s are weird.
Speaking of that Game 7, the 7.5-point favorites right now for OKC, 213. You know what, Steve, in Game 5, that effort by Oklahoma City to take the epic Jokic punch, especially after that 3 that he threw in to tie the game, it's like, oh no, like Denver going to steal this second road game and then win the series. And then after, you said what you said yesterday, where it felt like, oh, maybe Jokic wasn't involved much, and then you look up and it's like, oh my goodness, he had another epic Jokic game. But for Oklahoma City, a young team that hasn't been in this spot before against a team that's won a championship. I saw the retweet you had yesterday. This is the 7th Game 7 in the Jokic era for the Nuggets, but this is the first one away from Denver. So I'm just curious, what do you expect to see out of the youthful OKC team? And then for Denver, even though they've been in Game 7s before, it's the first one not at Mile High.
I think for Oklahoma City, they've got to come out with energy and aggression. They've got to play like the team we've seen in the regular season and play with force. They tend to do that more so at home than on the road. And so hopefully this will help the Lou Dorts, the Hartensteins, the Chets of the world play better. But I think they've just got to come out, run in transition off every stop, try and harass Denver and put pressure on them, try and get off to a hot start, let your defense give you some wriggle room, and then try and run them out the gym. We saw them do it earlier in the series at home. They've got to have one of those moments. You can't come out and play slow and let the game come to you. They got to come out in Game 7 with force. For Denver, the biggest thing is they have to do is they have to keep the aggression. They can't also kind of be slow offensively, and they can't wait for the game to kind of develop. Jokic and Murray need to send a message in the first quarter that they are here and kind of put the doubt back in OKC's mind. It's back and forth. It's a coin. It's a flip of the coin. But I think OKC has to play with way more force and way more tempo and get up and down the court.
I know you just really break down these games piece by piece, so I hate putting you on the spot too much with the betting, but I am going to just for a second. We got the Pacers waiting. We got the Timberwolves waiting. Who are they going to be facing in the Eastern and Western conferences?
I think you're getting Pacers, Knicks, and I think you are going to get Wolves, I'll say it. Wolves Nuggets.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. The upset on the west side. And I'll just ask you this just to follow up real quick on that. For Minnesota, again, it's so interesting to see at this point. A franchise that, other than a few years with high-end best player in the league, KG, a franchise that has done absolutely nothing in its existence. And they're going to, this is the second straight Western Conference final for them. And I know it's so weird to say this. It almost feels like Anthony Edwards, even though he is looked at now as this top 10 player, is still underrated, which is kind of amazing to me. And for, let's say Oklahoma City does hold serve, I think Minnesota's live to pull that upset. They're definitely live to beat Denver. But if they play OKC, I think they're live to beat them as well.
I would say believe in the Minnesota Timberwolves as a team that can make the finals, especially with the way Anthony Edwards is playing, because we get surprised that he does this back-to-back springs, but when he's able to score the ball the way that he does, but he's also reading the defenses and making the right plays and punishing teams, which he did to the Lakers and the Warriors, as far as I understand what you're trying to do. I can make the right plays. You still can't guard me. That's such a boost for Minnesota. And then you add Julius Randle and what he adds to this team as far as his buy-in, but also his drives. They have someone who can also get in the paint and force help and make the right reads and make the right passes. And that combination has been really tough to deal with. And they work on the other end defensively. So OKC would probably be a tougher matchup for them because of the athleticism. Oh no, they found me. But I would say the biggest thing is Minnesota is a team that believes, and they had to go through the journey this year. It wasn't easy for them. A lot of criticism was thrown their way early. They know who they are, and they're going to attack.
I'm glad that you asked about Minnesota, because I want to ask about the Pacers on the other side. I know I definitely had them undervalued. I thought the Bucks had a shot. I know the Cavs were injured, so we never will really know, but did their job in both of those series, and now here they are just waiting for the winner of a beat-up Celtics team or a Knicks team who isn't that deep. So what do you think about the Pacers' chance to make it to the finals?
Also high. Like if you ask me, and we saw Minnesota, Indiana, I would not be surprised, because the Indiana Pacers have been like a machine this playoffs. They have been unbelievably good offensively, and they kind of have this like Spurs-esque quality of being able to read what you're doing defensively and poke at it. They play with pace, they play with tempo, they move the ball. Tyrese Halliburton has been incredible as far as making passes. But in the playoffs, no one thinks of Indiana as this defensive team, but they've been really physical, and they've really put pressure on teams to kind of keep up with them. And so when you're a team that can score points, you're taking things away from teams in the half court in the playoffs. And now you're getting off on like a 10-2 run consistently. Don't bet against the Pacers because of what you think, because they've gotten there for a reason. And when you get to the conference finals, it's a sprint. We just got to get to 4 games. We've done our job. They're a hard team to crack in the playoffs because there's not necessarily one thing you can take away from them.
Back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals for Indiana now as well. Steve, before we let you go, I just want to ask you, because the WNBA starts tonight, regular season-wise. Alex will have all. I know this is a big weekend numbers-wise for you, so we'll have a little more talk on Monday. But for people that are looking to go in and see this series, see for what the season is to come, at least on my end, Steve, I think the top 4 and the season win totals tell you this. The top 4 of any order: New York, Minnesota, Las Vegas, and Indiana are a big step above everyone else. And we could be spiraling towards what would be a pretty epic semifinals in the WNBA if we get those 4 teams there healthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's my tier 1 in the W so far for me. The Liberty coming back as champions, it's going to be hard to really just knock them off. Minnesota, they're mad because of the fact that New York beat them. The Aces have been more than mad for an entire offseason because Liberty beat them. And Caitlin Clark in year 2 with a team full of veterans that are understanding and know exactly how to win, and a better defense, hiring coach Stephanie White. I don't really doubt that those would be the top 4. The order, I have no idea. And so I'm trying to figure out who gets off to the hottest start. But I think all 4 of those teams are motivated, and they all kind of have MVP candidates. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some rumblings as far as old Caitlin Clark over there.
Wouldn't shock me at all if, like you said, any order of these 4, like if we get that, as long as we get those 4 teams in the semifinals, I'm good at this rate. Unless if Seattle takes an unexpected step, even though obviously Lloyd now here in Vegas, or if at least for me, Alex and Steve, LA with all that young talent, and now with Kelsey Plum there, they're another one that could be a little bit interesting to me.
I will say it's going to be interesting to see how the middle kind of settles, because you mentioned the Sparks. Kelsey Plum's going to have a lot to prove. They're going to play with a lot of pace and tempo. The Atlanta Dream put together a lot of talent as far as having Brittany Griner, Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, and Bree Jones, so I wouldn't look out for them. The Phoenix Mercury have the big three of Alyssa Thomas, Kalia Copper, and Satu Sabli. It's going to take some time for them to put things together. The Sky improved. They have veterans around Angel Reese. Their defense could be good. So one of those teams, the W. One team always rises, and one team always starts a little slow. So I wouldn't be surprised if a team like the Storm, veteran defense, kind of does what the Connecticut Sun did last year, the last couple of years, where we just kind of sneak around. You didn't think we were up there, but we're sitting here at 3 or 4, just kind of bothering you all season.
Connecticut, what team with a very different look roster this year, to say the very least.
Extremely. I'm not sure if the sun is shining in Connecticut right now.
Probably not, at least for this year. Maybe down the line, but not this year. He's Steve Jones Jr., Steve Jones 20 on the tweets. Steve, it was a pleasure to have you on. Thanks for being with us here today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Steve Jones Jr., everyone. All right, we'll take a quick break. If you haven't answered the trivia question on the bottom line, go ahead and take a stab at that here today. When we get back, we got baseball to go on a Friday before we get out of here. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, 777s, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Final few minutes for us here on a Friday. We'll have the whiteboards as well at the end, along with the trivia answer. We'll also have Dwayne's horses he likes. We'll have that on a whiteboard at the show as well if you missed it earlier. All right, baseball, loaded Friday here in Major League Baseball. It is basically all interleague games today, and it's the quote-unquote rivalry interleague games. All but 4 of the 15 series this weekend are interleague. So we'll get through a lot of these here. Let's start in Philly with a non-interleague game, an all-Pennsylvania battle. Pirates and Phillies. Phils will throw Ranger Suarez tonight. He's a gigantic favorite against Andrew Haney tonight. Minus 230 on Philly, plus 195 on the Buccos, and a total of 8.5 at Citizens Bank here tonight.
So there is going to be some wind on the East Coast. This one's not going to be a whole lot, but I do think it'll help the Phillies out a little bit. They're coming off a not so impressive series, and Ranger Suarez, although we've only seen him twice, I mean, I like what we saw in the second start, so I think he is going to come into form here. On the other side, Andrew Heaney's been relatively good for the Pirates, but if you look at his last 3 starts, hitters are hitting .293, and it's a 6.4 xFIP. So I think the Phillies are going to be able to get to him here, especially they're pretty good against lefties. Team total, I like over, and it's a higher one. It's 4.5, but I think they can get there. I found -125 for that.
Yeah, I like that. This is, again, one of this Pirate team, as we've talked about, their offense as a whole has been all over the map. I expect this is a good spot for Suarez to get himself right. And Heaney, the regular numbers look pretty good, but you got to go under the hood, like you said, on Andrew Heaney. All right. We don't have a play on this next game, but I'm just mentioning it because it's the biggest number of the season so far.
It's pretty crazy.
Arizona's -420 with Corbin Burns tonight against Palmquist of the 7-36 Colorado Rockies, total of 9. +340 is the bet. Well, actually, you can get +360 at some shops on Colorado. We have nothing here. I just wanted to bring that up because that price is so outrageous for May 16th, Alex.
For May 16th, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's not even the Dodgers game here, but the Diamondbacks offense has been, really that good. So I can definitely see it here. It's actually Corbin Burns I'm a little more concerned about because he's been a little up and down this year. So I think that's a kind of a big price for him. But we do have 3 starts now coming into this one where he has held opponents to 1 or under earned runs. So I think he'll be okay in this one. So I'm not going to touch it. I mean, if you made me, I think it would
only be take the dog, but why would you want to? Why
would
you want to do that to yourselves?
Exactly.
More so than anything. All right, going north of the border next. Good matchup. Jays and Tigers. Flaherty and Francis. Good pitching matchup. Total 8.5. Detroit -110. Jays -105. Total 8.5. Alex, it'd actually only be a lean to a first 5 under in this game for me because we can get 4.5 under. So I would look to that 4.5 under.
I'm just a little concerned with Jack Flaherty and what we've seen as of late. And the other thing is the team is 1-5 when he has started. So you know how my dad is constantly talking about when this guy's on the mound, we know we're going to win. Well, it hasn't really been Flaherty yet this year. And he has struggled. 5 earned runs against Texas, 4 against the Angels, 4 against Houston. So those last 3 starts concern me here. So it would be a look at Toronto, especially with the way they've been hitting the ball. I mean, right now, the last 7 games, 145 WRC plus. This team's offense has been great. I just don't want to play them at a coin flip. If I was getting a plus price, I'd probably jump in here on the Blue Jays.
Up next, we go to Texas. Battle of Texas. Astros, Rangers. Both of these teams very much in the mix in a very compact AL West. Again, you see the AL standings on your screen. Other than the White Sox and the Orioles, we'll get to them in a moment. It's a compact mix. Also, Minnesota's also won 10 straight games to get back in the race in the American League Central. Evaldi and McCullers, you and I both loved Nathan Evaldi this year. He's been spectacular. Just a matter of, is this price too much here tonight at almost $2 at home against McCullers, who we, again, have not seen much of this year?
I don't think so. And I think you're actually going to like the way that I played it. I'm going Rangers first 5 -177. Of course, that is a pretty big price as well. But, find somebody to tie it up with if you want for a money line parlay. But, Jeff, we got to keep backing him until he gives us a reason not to. But 2 earned runs in his last 4 starts combined. He's pitching so well right now. And like you said, on the other side, don't really know what we're going to get from McCullers. And in his last start was not, or last appearance was not good. Took the loss against the Reds, 7 runs on 3 hits. So, and he didn't record a strikeout. So I'm a little concerned with him here. Of course, this is a 4-game series. Rangers did take game 1 yesterday, 1-0. So could be another low scoring one there, but I definitely like Evaldi.
Let's go to Chicago next. This is more of just a bring up of the situation, more so than anything. Cubs and White Sox. The wind is blowing 25 miles an hour out to left field today at Wrigley. That's why you see an 11.5. Now, it's Horton and Smith. Smith, pretty pedestrian on the White Sox side. Horton, just not a big sample size at the major league level. Big-time prospect, was awesome at Iowa this year. But anytime you see a monster number like this at Wrigley, you know the wind's a factor, and it is a factor here today.
Smith has got to be their best pitcher, though, for the White Sox. Yeah. If you look at his numbers, he's done really well. He Okay, it was the Marlins, but still just 4 hits, no earned runs. Kansas City, just 2 earned runs. Milwaukee, 1. All right, so this isn't the toughest of competitors that he has pitched up against, but the last 5 starts have been very good. Actually, all year, 3 earned runs is the most that he has given up. So definitely their best pitcher on that side. The Cubs have been struggling as of late. Offensively, their numbers are not good. 191 average in their last 7 games, 80 WRC plus. So maybe it's a great spot for them to get right here, but I wouldn't touch it because I do like Shane Smith a lot for the White Sox. He's not an auto fade, I guess you could say, when he's on the mound.
Yeah, again, the being the best pitcher on the White Sox has to be taken a little bit with a grain of salt, but he has pitched well, as you just outlined, over his last few starts.
There was 2 really good last year that ended up in other spots.
Yeah, well, Crochet. Yeah, Crochet.
Crochet.
To say the very least. A little bit different on that.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, let's go to Baltimore next. We don't have a play on anything in Cincinnati and Cleveland. Battle of Ohio, by the way, just real quick. Guards are minus 15 in that one. But going to Baltimore next, I just want to bring this up. Povich and Gore. Povich is minus 125. Povich is minus 125, plus 10 on Gore. The Orioles are a disgrace right now. And I'm not sure they're going to be able to get out of it because it's everything. It's not just that one part of the team is not working. It's that the lineup is inconsistent. It's that the pitching's been mostly bad this year. And you just wonder, even with all the young talent, is this just a year that it's a burn the tape year for them? And you bounce back next year with all the youthful talent. You and I, we've talked about Mackenzie Gore a lot.
Yep.
I'm stunned with the way that Baltimore has played, especially with getting bludgeoned by Minnesota through the week at home, that Washington's actually not close to being favored in this game. I would be on Gore first 5. Go after Povich. Take Mackenzie Gore. Yeah, Mackenzie Gore is favored first 5, but I don't really care. I would much rather have Gore first 5 than full game and mess around with that Washington inconsistent bullpen.
That is a good point there. I actually do have this highlighted, so I didn't add it, but the Nats was very close to being a play for me. These two have already seen each other, so that could be part of the price here because Povich did very, very good, just 1 earned run on 4 hits in 6 2/3 innings. But on the other side, Mackenzie Gore did too. So I also thought a potential under with both of these lineups, struggling against lefties, even though the Nationals have been better as of late. So yeah, first 5 Nationals, I think that's a good play there.
We go to New York next. Subway Series, first matchup of the year between the Mets and the Yankees. It's Juan Soto's return to the Bronx after spurning the Yankees and signing with the crosstown Mets in the offseason. It's McGill. It's Rodon. Rodon has been awesome. McGill's coming off his worst start of the year, but before that, McGill had been excellent for the Mets. Mets rotation, everyone's got under a 3.2 ERA right now, amazingly enough. Alex, I think the price is too steep on the Mets in this one. I would have expected Rodon to come in about the minus 135 pocket like it was for a little bit overnight, but it's been one-way steam on the Yankees, and I'm not sure that this should be this high. It'd only be a look to the Mets at Yankee Stadium tonight at plus 135.
I completely agree. Both of them actually coming off of a rough start because Carlos Rodon got hit up pretty good by the Athletics. So I lean to the over. I do think both of these offenses are going to find success against these pitchers, even though they have had really good years. So lean to the over there at 9, but plus 135 I think is way, way too good of a price to pass up. So it definitely made my board. And I don't even mind going against the steam because I had 125 written down here.
The former White Sox Bulls up next, Alex. Crochet and Sale tonight at Fenway. Actually, for Chris Sale, this is the first time back at Fenway since the Red Sox traded him. Actually, him and Crochet on basically the same career path already. Red Sox minus 10, total of 8 of this one. Oh, man, Alex, I would have looked at the first 5 under 4, but you are dealing with offenses that are capable, even though, again, the Braves have had their erratic nature so far this year, but these are 2 really good starters, and Sale is starting to find it now. And
it really would have just been an auto play on Boston here with Garrett Crochet. Definitely one of the top pitchers in the league as of right now. But I like the Chris Sale revenge thing. So that did give me a Braves Red Sox under 4 first 5. Because, I mean, Chris Sale's had a pretty good last 5 starts here. I mean, really just 2 earned runs in 3 of the last 5. So I think he can slow down this Red Sox offense at least for a little bit here.
Moving along to the I-70 battle. The Battle of Missouri. KC, St. Louis, they're on the western side of the state here tonight. Palante and Reagan's. Reagan's is minus 40, plus 25 on Palante, 8.5 the total. You know, I know Reagan's has been, at least of late, a little more erratic. It's had the bad start in Detroit, the start where he got injured against Colorado, missed a turn in the rotation, awesome against the White Sox, mediocre against the Red Sox, even though he had a high strikeout total.
Yeah.
This feels like a good bounce back spot on Reagan's here, even against the St. Louis team that has hit the ball at a high level over the last 2 weeks. Minus 40 feels cheap on this one, Alex. So I would look only to Kansas City. Both of these teams are playing quite well at the moment, with the Royals back to 5 games over 500 in St. Louis, only a game behind the Cubs, winners of 9 of their last 10.
I still am very confused about this Kansas City team because
you're not alone on that.
They find ways to win, but their offensive numbers are not good at all. In the last 7, batting 220, 271 OBP, and 57 WRC plus. I mean, the Cardinals' numbers are much better than that. They had that nice winning streak going before losing one. So Dean asked this one in the chat and said he was leaning to the Cardinals. It's a definite lean to the Cardinals for me. It wasn't enough to jump in at plus 125 because that's right where I think the number should be. So I don't have any, difference there. But I mean, just feel, and Cardinals have done relatively well against Cole Reagan's in the past. I mean, nothing great. 333 slugging, 804 OPS. But so yeah, it's a lean, but I don't want to go against the Royals either here at home. This is the team that had the splits.
Huge splits.
Last year.
Yeah. I mean, they were a top 5 offense in baseball at home, and they were a bottom 7 offense away from it. And Bobby Witt's numbers, I mean, Bobby Witt was he was still really good on the road, but he was Aaron Judge plus at home last year at Kauffman. All right, let's go to Milwaukee next. The Twins, winners of 11 in a row, taking full advantage of the Baltimore Orioles mixed in that 11-game win streak. Go to Milwaukee. It's going to be Joe Ryan and Patrick. We've talked about how we like Joe Ryan, a little bit undervalued. Minus 15 feels like a reasonable price on him here tonight with a total of 7.5 at AmFam.
Shoot, I forgot to check one thing, and that was if Buxton and Correa would be playing because they were in concussion.
In that collision yesterday afternoon. Right now, I'll give you it here. Buxton, still nothing on if they will be in or out here tonight.
Kind of important pieces there, right? Shortstop and center fielder. So I really wanted to play the Twins, even with the doubleheader, a game yesterday. It feels like a good spot for the Brewers, but I wanted to keep backing this win streak. And the Brewers scored 9 in their last game, but before that, they could not score a run. So I don't think this team is meshing very well, playing very well. They're like 30th right now in a lot of metrics, hitting wise. So I thought even with the spot, I thought the Twins could pull it off, but I would wait and see on those 2 players.
Going last one here on the board. Just real quick price check on 2 games we don't have bets on. Padres and Mariners, which is a high-end game with not great pitchers here tonight. Evans and Kolek, very weird that we get these 2 teams and this is the pitching matchup we get. Padres minus 50, total 8.5. Both of us passing on that game here in this one. Dodgers are $3 with Dustin May against the Angels. Cole Wenzenis goes for the Angels. 9.5. We're passing on that. Dodgers still scoring runs from a night ago, even though we figured out to get Shohei Ohtani out, just throw a position player against them, as we found out last night. And then the last one, it's the Battle of the Bay, but it's weird to call it the Battle of the Bay now because the A's are in Sacramento. Giants, A's, Sears, Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. Giants coming back to earth a little bit this last 10-day stretch. It's a nice little get right spot, though, with your ace against the A's, who, again, even though they're 500, are relatively inconsistent, all things considered.
Yeah, and I hope JP Spears can keep this going. He is pitching very, very good. Has not given up 3 earned runs or more since April 11th. So last 6 starts have been 2 or less. Not a huge strikeout guy, but I mean, Rangers 7 strikeouts, no walks. So I like both pitchers. I love Logan Webb. I like under 3.5 in the first 5, but I am a little bit nervous bullpen wise with the Athletics. I didn't check if we have Mason Miller or anything. So I'm just going to highlight the first 5 innings under 3.5 for me with these two.
Low total. The wind is blowing out, but that is a ballpark that does not really get impacted by wind, just the way they constructed it. So the Bay wind did not impact it too much. All right. That's a baseball card here for a Friday. We'll take a short break. We'll get the whiteboard set up. I'll actually take Dwayne's board in a second. And we'll also get the trivia answer when we get back to wrap up the week. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action. When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
Wrapping it up on a Friday, Jeff Parles, Alex White. Let's get the trivia question and answer first before we get the whiteboards here today. Which NBA Hall of Fame shooting guard beat out Akeem Olajuwon to win the NBA Rookie of the Year on this date in 1985? And that, of course, was Michael Jordan. Back in the day, that was, as we know, Olajuwon went 1 to the Rockets. Sam Bowie went 2 to the Portland Trailblazers. And then MJ, and the rest was history, number 3 to the Chicago Bulls. Jordan had a huge rookie year and went on, obviously, to be the GOAT and win 6 NBA championships. But MJ beat Akeem Olajuwon out. Multiple titles for both of those guys. Olajuwon won the 2 titles when Jordan wasn't in the league, 1994 and 1995. Dean Hilt, your winner. 2 in a row for Dean Hilt.
Yeah, very
There
good.
we go. Dean with the winner here today. All right. It's whiteboard time here on a Friday, and we will begin with the one and only Alex White. A little bit of a less chaotic board, at least from the looks, Alex. I don't know about it. Well, still 5 plays here today.
Well, and I've been sticking with 4 lately, but I've been stuck at 2-2. So we got to either go 5-0 or 3-2. So here we go. We're going Phillies team total over 4.5. A little bit of wind going against the Pirates. I think they're going to have success against Heaney. We're going with the Rangers first 5 -177. If you want to find a dance partner for that, or if you are okay laying that price. But Nathan Eovaldi has been amazing for the Rangers this year. Mets +135 against the Yankees, taking a shot here in game 1. We're going Braves, Red Sox, under 4, first 5. Chris Sale and Crochet going in that one. Athletics and Giants, we're going under 3.5 for the first 5 with JP Spears and Logan Webb.
Dwayne's horse racing picks. So today, Black Eyed Susan, he's on the 7 and the 8. Preakness, he's keying it to the 1 with the 2, the 8, and the 9. So there you go. Year to date, all the numbers, just follow the numbers for Dwayne on who he likes here in the Preakness and the Black Eyed Susan later today.
Sorry about my handwriting. I was writing really fast.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. It was more than legible. More than legible. It'd be better than what I would put on that board. So you're in good shape on that one. All right. That's the week. We're back Monday. Alex and I will see Dwayne again for the 3rd time in 8 days. We'll have possibly both the East and the Western Conference Finals set up in the NBA and the NHL. We'll break it all down on Monday. Shout out to the crew. Jerry, Vince, Drew Dog, and Ryan. Did I say Sean? I don't know if I said Sean. Sean, you might be getting a second shout out there. Thank you all, as always, for watching, listening. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on social media. Alex, good luck.
Thank you.
Go Mets for your board and for my sake here today.
Yes.
Also, thanks to Kenny also as well for being with us through the week, as he always is. I'm Jeff Parles. She's Alex White. We'll see you again Monday right here, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.